In Chapter 3, we're going to be talking about a concept called job order costing. Job order costing is a type of absorption costing where all costs are assigned to a unit. In other words, the units fully absorb all the manufacturing costs. When you are accounting for direct materials, it's pretty easy to trace them to a particular unit. However, factory overhead is not so easy to trace, so we're going to be using some allocation methods to get those averages across time and products assigned to particular units. Let's talk more specifically about job order costing. Job order costing involves all costs being traced to a job and then divided up amongst the units in that job, and you can calculate the average cost per unit. We're going to use this average cost per unit when we value our inventory and also when we calculate the cost of our goods that are sold. Now, who's going to use job order costing? We're going to use this when we have unique, diverse outputs. In other words, when many different products are produced, like at the Levi Strauss clothing factory. You're also going to use job order costing in large-scale projects, like Boeing aircraft. Each aircraft is going to be unique from one another. A lot of service businesses will also use job order costing. Hospitals, repair shops, and law firms. Hospitals are going to track costs to particular patients, repair shops to particular customers, and law firms to particular clients. In this video, we're going to be talking about some of the documents that are used in a job order costing system. There are three primary documents that we're going to be talking about: the materials requisition form, the direct labor time ticket, and a job cost sheet. The materials requisition form is created by the production department after a production order has been issued. This form specifies which materials are needed from the storeroom, and it also identifies which job the materials are for. This helps control the flow of material, and it also serves as a source document for journal entries that need to be made. In this picture of the materials requisition form, you can see that they identified the job number to be charged, and it identifies the quantity and cost of each item that is needed from the storeroom. This materials requisition form easily shows that the total cost of the materials for this job that are being requested with this requisition is $660. These are the costs that we need to know so that we can trace them to individual units. To track labor cost, we use a time ticket. Most companies nowadays are going to use a computerized time ticket. This is an hour-by-hour summary of each employee's activities. The employee will scan in when they begin work on a job. It'll indicate their start time, their employee's ID number, and the job number that their hours should be charged to. When they're finished, they'll scan out of the job. And that obviously will indicate the stop time, the employee's ID number, and the job number. Typically, when you're starting a job, you'll do 3 scans. You'll scan the time, you'll scan your ID badge, and you'll scan a job number. When you scan out, you'll scan the time, you'll scan your ID badge, and you'll scan the job number. Then the computer does all the work, keeping track of who worked on what and for how long. In this time ticket, which is produced by a computer, it's one time ticket for one employee for one day, and it shows where that employee was working, what station they were working in. They started this job at 7 and they ended at 12. Therefore, there was 5 hours. It has their hourly rate, and that calculates the total amount and what job that $45 should be applied to. At 12:30, they scanned back in and worked until 2:30. That's 2 hours at a rate of $9 an hour, $18 applied to a different job. And then from 2:30 to 3:30, there was 1 hour that was going to be assigned to general maintenance. Since this does not go to a specific job, this will end up as indirect labor, which will end up in manufacturing overhead. Now, the job cost sheet. The job cost sheet is created by the accounting department, and it's there to record the materials, labor, and overhead that will be charged to a specific job. The materials are charged when they are issued, so as soon as they come out of the storeroom, it goes on the job cost sheet as a material charge for that job. The labor is recorded by using the barcodes and the scanners to create a time ticket, and then overhead needs to be applied through an allocation method to each particular job. In this illustration, you see a job cost sheet. This is for one particular job from one department for one item. Shows the date that we started, the date that we completed, and the number of units that were completed. Over in this section, you can see the direct materials that are assigned to this job. We track these through the materials requisition form. In this section, you can see the direct labor, hours, and costs that are assigned to this job. We do that through our time tickets. And in this section, we have some manufacturing overhead that's been applied to this job. They're using the direct labor hours as an allocation base, and they're using a predetermined overhead rate of $8 per direct labor hour. In our next section, we're going to go over a little bit more about how these overhead costs get assigned to each job.